So Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of both the Smash Bros. And Kirby series, has come out stating something that your boy has been saying for ages now. Japanese games need to remain intrinsically Japanese. Welcome back to Words Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, right here, Masahiro Sakurai says Japanese devs should make uniquely Japanese games, not westernized ones. And I made this exact same point, like, months ago in a video. I believe it was the video Final Fantasy is Dying, because Square Enix made a point to state they want their games to have a more global and, more importantly, Western vibe to them. That way it corners that side of the Western market. And it's not just Square Enix. Capcom said something similar relatively recently, and I'm sorry, I heavily disagree with this sentiment. The reason Sony fans like myself play these Japanese games is because there's an inherent difference in the game design philosophy of the East and the West. And if you were to ask me my top 3 favorite series of all time, they're all Japanese. Resident Evil, Sonic the Hedgehog, and The Legend of Zelda. Like, those are all Japanese games. In fact, if you were to ask me my top 5, only one Western IP would be there, and that'd be Fallout. Like, I don't even know what my number 5 would be. Like, probably Smash Bros, but there's some competition. Silent Hill's pretty up there. Street Fighter's up there. Devil May Cry is up there. Mario's up there. See, I'm not sure what my number 5 would be. I'd have to sit and think about it. Probably Smash Bros. But the point is, if I gave you a top 5 and only one is a Western game, then why would I want these Japanese games to cater towards Western-style game development? It makes no sense. And finally, it's great to hear a Japanese dev, speaking like this, saying keep these games intrinsically Japanese. So we're going to get into this. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. And let's break this down. Kirby series creator and Super Smash Bros. Series creator, director Masahiro Sakurai recently talked up games made in Japan and the importance of making uniquely Japanese games. Recently, Mr. Sakurai was awarded as the recipient of the Art Encouragement Prize of New Arts, which is awarded by the Agency for Cultural Affairs in Japan. Good. Homie deserved it. Homie is, let's be real, Masahiro Sakurai is a god in the industry, and his work deserves recognition. Not just on Kirby. I mean, Smash Bros. Ultimate is called Ultimate for a reason. The dude put himself in the hospital because of how hard he was working on that. If dude never makes another game again in his life, A-okay. You have given us the ultimate platinum achievement in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Take some time for yourself, homie. It was not due to creating the iconic character of Kirby or even directing Super Smash Bros. That got Mr. Sakurai the award. Instead, it was due to his YouTube channel, Masahiro Sakurai on Creating Games. While giving the interview with Intact, Sakurai expressed his opinion that Japanese studios were overdoing it with trying to cater to an American audience. And again, I mean, I agree. Think about the most recent Resident Evil games. Sorry, they don't feel like Resident Evil. Now, is that because Capcom doesn't know what direction they want to take the series because it's got this identity crisis? The modern remakes don't feel, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 specifically, don't feel like the Resident Evil games that we've grown to know and love. In fact, I don't even think that Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8, feels like Resident Evil, even though 7 felt like he was very much getting back on track. And that's because it's not just characters being Japanese that makes it a Japanese game. Or, I mean, again, let's go to Legend of Zelda. Link, for damn sure, ain't Japanese. He's Hylian. Leon Kennedy is clearly American. Sonic is just a blue dude with a tooth. He a hedgehog. Like, these characters aren't inherently Japanese. The settings aren't inherently Japanese settings. There's a difference in game design philosophy between the East and West. And it's not that one's better than the other inherently. I mean, obviously, I have a bias towards Japanese game development techniques, but that doesn't mean what the West is doing is inherently. I mean, okay, the last 10 years or so, it's been pretty bad, but that's not an overall thing. I mean, we've had great Western games, Gears of War, Halo. People love those sorts of games. So again, you can go back to the mascot era with things like Spyro, which sure you can just say that the mascot era started with Japan, Mario, Sonic, and that's fair. That doesn't mean the Westerners didn't figure out how to do it. I mean, let's be real. Ratchet and Clank, Crash Bandicoot, those are pretty strong contenders for greatest mascots of all time, even when you put them up against the likes of Sonic and Mario. The point is, there's good on both sides, but the game design philosophy is what's different and what certain players are going to gravitate towards. And with the East, if you start diluting what makes your games intrinsically Japanese, you're going to lose the players that wanted the games for that reason. It's not necessarily my own idea, but the trend of the gaming industry is that Japanese people should go ahead and do what Japanese people like to do. I think that's a good idea, Sakurai said. Is that the trend in the gaming industry, though? Like, I don't know that that's a trend in the gaming industry because of what, as recently as within the last year and a half, both Capcom and Square Enix have said. He added, a while ago, there was a culture of, let's make Americanized products because they're popular in the US, and so on. There was certainly such a culture. I would love to believe that this culture is fading out. I don't know that it is. Like, I'm gonna be real. I don't know. I'm going to need to see more just great Eastern games from these once acclaimed Eastern companies that aren't Nintendo before I start believing this. I mean, look, even Sega with the Yakuza games, are those starting to become more heavily Western inspired? Now, I personally don't think so, but I think maybe an argument could be made for it, even if it's just in small steps. And you know what? So take enough small steps, you're still going to get to your destination, if that destination is, let's make things more intrinsically Western. However, surprisingly, I feel that Japanese game lovers overseas are not looking for such things, but rather for Japanese uniqueness and fun, Sakurai elaborated. In other words, I thought the idea would be to make games the way you like to make them, and people can have and accept and enjoy them. Bingo, bango, bongo. I mean, dude, Sakurai spinning absolute facts here. I don't buy a game usually because of who created it in terms of the name. Now, there's going to be exceptions to that. Shinji Mikami can make anything. I'm gonna buy it. Like once I see Shinji Mikami's name slapped on it, I'm gonna buy it. There are people that feel that way with Kojima. I think those people are retarded, and I'm gonna get flamed for that in the comments, but it is what it is. I think Kojima's a hack, but that's neither here nor there. And frankly, I would do the same with Sakurai. If I see Masahiro Sakurai's name on something, I'm gonna buy it. And there are people that probably feel like that with Western devs as well. As small as a contingent as there may be, there are gonna be people that see Neil Druckmann's name on something, and they're gonna buy it. Again, much like Kojima, retarded, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Let's see. However, there we go. The trend of changing games to suit Western taste is not a new one, but it has accelerated in recent years. Some games even feature terminology like Riz and other brain rot terminology that is popular with younger Gen Z kids and Generation Alpha. This can dilute the experience for both Japanese audiences and Western audiences who sought out anime because of its own unique aesthetic. To be fair, that one you can't, at least I don't think, blame on the Japanese game developers. That's on the Western localizers. I mean, if the games are being localized and they're doing it wrong, that's a massive problem. And I've made video after video after video talking about what a danger the localization aspect is and how the localization in America, frankly, destroys these IPs. But the game isn't made with that in mind in Japan, so I don't know that that's a strong argument. Changing some dialogue and story choices to include American slang terms could end up simply ruining a piece of what had made the anime attractive, or the game, I say anime here, but game, attractive to Western fans to begin with. And yeah, I agree with this completely. But there's more to this story, this time from Nintendo Life. By the way, shout out to Niche Gamer, they're fantastic. Now, most of this is pretty much the same. However, this interesting little part here at the bottom, his comment comes at an interesting time for Silent Hill fans. Hi, yo. What up? Though not relevant for the Switch as much, maybe the Switch 2 though, recent transmission broadcasts for Silent Hill F highlighted a desire to bring the series back to its Japanese roots, which series producer Motoi Okamoto stating, as Silent Hill was based in the West for the longest time, it felt like Japanese influence was fading. I disagree with this sentiment, to be fair, because again, where the story takes place, it doesn't matter as much. Again, Resident Evil, the original trilogy on PS1, they take place in the heartland of America. I mean, yeah, Raccoon City is a fake city, but it's an American Midwestern city. Again, the heartland of America. And even though it takes place in the heartland of the good old USA, it's still very much a Japanese game. So I don't think the location matters. It's the people making games and being directed on how to make games by those higher up, whether it be the actual directors on site or the money man that think that this is going to make more money when I don't think there's any evidence to support that. That is what is causing things to lose their sense of being Japanese. As such, the latest entry will be the first to take place solely in Japan. Now, that being said, I am excited for that. Silent Hill F being placed solely in Japan. Very interesting concept. I want to see where they go with it because I just... Japanese horror is awesome. Masahiro Sakurai stressed that his opinion is just one way of looking at the topic, but we think it's a pretty sound approach. We love Japanese games here at Nintendo Life because they're so distinctly Japanese, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Bingo, bango, bongo. I couldn't agree more. Again, there's nothing inherently wrong with Western games. once again, minus where we at in the gaming space right now. Let's be real. Ubisoft is trash no matter what. Who's gonna? I don't know. There's a lot of people that buy the most recent up-and-coming Call of Duty that releases every year. More power to you. That ain't my thing. Call of Duty been dead since Black Ops 2, in my opinion. Like, that was the last truly good one. But that being said, for the people that like Western games and when the Western games are good, but I mean, let's think of a very recent example is Space Marine 2. I'm currently playing Space Marine 2. That's a Western game. It's mind-blowingly awesome. A straight-up throwback to the Xbox 360, PS3 era of things weren't overly complicated. You're just mowing down and gunning down motherfuckers, and it doesn't have to be deep, and it's very gameplay heavy as opposed to just a walking simulator or basically a movie that you play. I'm loving Space Marine 2. That being said, man, at the end of the day, I'm still probably going to end up defaulting back to Smash Bros. and Mario and Sonic and Zelda and Resident Evil and Silent Hill and Street Fighter and all these Japanese games that just feel different, and different isn't inherently better, but that's what I as a consumer want. So, no, I don't want these companies. I mean, I love Final Fantasy. The idea that Final Fantasy is going to try to appeal to a Western market, why would I want that? Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy. I mean, it is as Japanese gets when it comes to a JRPG. I prefer JRPGs to Western RPGs. I mean, again, I will play Final Fantasy over Skyrim any day. That's just me, though. So keep what the players want and what the paying customers want as is. I don't understand this mentality of trying to make games Western or global or whatever it may be when your customers have been telling you for 30, 40, 50 years what it is they want, and they've already been willingly paying for it. So, again, I do hope that Masahiro Sakurai is correct, and that this culture of, oh, we should make the games for a Western audience is dying out in Japan. Thus far, I don't see any evidence, though, so it might just be wishful thinking on his part, or maybe we're actually going to see some massive gains in the Eastern market for the games that are coming out in the next few years. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X-Ring. Find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always about the gaming industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the videos we go over on the Friday night live streams, choose the articles I cover on a day-to-day basis, and of course, get involved with over 180 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.